Should your MSP have a presence on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Twitter X, all of those other platforms? Well, I have a definitive answer for each one, and most of them I'm going to tell you it's a big fat no. Hey, I'm Paul Green, and don't forget, for all of the content, tools and training to market and grow your MSP, check out MSPMarketingEdge.com. So to all of those social media platforms, should you be on them? Well, the short answer to this is nope. But the longer answer is, it's a very common question for me that I get from MSPs. People say, hey Paul, should I be on insert platform here? And often I'll get a flurry of people asking this when a new platform launches. Do you remember from a couple of years ago, do you remember Clubhouse, which was like the audio only one? And then there was Be Real as well, which came out a few years back. My daughter still uses Be Real. Me, haven't touched it for 2 years. But this last year or so, it has, of course, been questions about Twitter, once Elon Musk bought it and then destroyed 17 years of brand equity by renaming it to X. And also, then, of course, there was Threads, which was the Twitter replacement launched by Meta. It's linked to Instagram. And there's, was it Mastodon? That's the other one as well, which is the decentralized version of Twitter. My answer to most of these platforms is very, very simple. The answer is this. It's don't worry too much about them. Stay focused on LinkedIn as your MSP's main social media platform. And why? Because that's where you're most likely to meet the business owner and the manager. These are the decision makers that you most want to reach. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the other mainstream social media platforms, they do have a value, especially Facebook. Facebook is like the universal platform, and that makes it useful for reaching decision makers in their downtime. And you can also use Facebook really well for remarketing adverts. Now, remarketing is where you show an advert to people who've already visited your website. But assuming that you don't have a huge marketing resource, the more you stretch yourself across multiple platforms, sometimes the less impact that you'll make. And you want to be a laser and not a flashlight, not a torch. So here are the top social media platforms, excluding those intended primarily for messaging. So I'm excluding WhatsApp, Messenger, Telegram. And here's my view on the marketing usefulness of each one. Let's start with LinkedIn. So as I said, this should be your MSP's main social media platform. Use your personal profile and not a business page, and set up a system to attempt 10 or more connection requests a day, and then every day add one new piece of comment. You should also comment on other people's posts every day, and on a weekly basis do a LinkedIn newsletter. There you're really maxing out LinkedIn. Next up is Facebook. If you are going to embrace a second platform, do make it Facebook. And again, use a personal profile rather than a business page, which are more or less dead these days on Facebook anyway. Now on Facebook, your content needs to be more personal than business or tech related. Next up is Instagram from Meta, the same company that owns Facebook. And you'd use Instagram to reach consumer-focused businesses that use it for their own marketing, such as retail and hospitality. So we're talking like restaurants, hotels, shops, that kind of thing. Why? Because the decision makers of those types of businesses are likely to be the ones using Instagram for their own marketing. So they're much more likely to see your stuff on Instagram. Next up, we've got X or Twitter. You use this only if you are passionate about it or if you're targeting a vertical that famously uses Twitter X very heavily. Next up is TikTok. I would ignore this one. The audience you want to reach mostly doesn't use it. And also, as I'm recording this episode in early May 2024, there is, of course, a lot of talk about TikTok being banned in the US. So it'll be interesting to see what's happened at the point that this episode is actually broadcast in late June. Threads is the next one. So Instagram, I mentioned Instagram earlier, and Threads is just a version of Instagram. Again, I would use Threads if you want to reach the kind of businesses that use Threads. But are retail businesses, are hospitality businesses using Threads? Do a bit of research on that in your area before you throw yourself into it. Next up is Reddit. Reddit is the Wild West. Have you ever been onto the Reddit MSP page? It's fascinating how I think because people can just hide behind a handle and they're completely anonymous. There are some very aggressive people on Reddit. So you use Reddit only if you're very passionate about it or if you're targeting a vertical that uses Reddit heavily. Discord is another one, a bit of a messaging platform, but it is a social platform as well. I believe you can ignore this mostly. The audience you want to reach mostly doesn't use Discord. The same with Pinterest. You can ignore this as well because, again, the audience you want to reach mostly doesn't use it. Exactly the same with Tumblr. Do you remember Tumblr? Not many people do since Yahoo got hold of it. You can ignore it. And any other platform that I haven't mentioned there, the chances are high that you can ignore it unless the specific audience that you want to use uses that platform. Have I missed any? Drop me an email and let me know.
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Edge.